will there be any plans to make leaderboards more user-friendly, like arrows that skip a greater number of pages? Because sometimes you get stuck on like page 23 bajillion, and you want to see who's at the top, and you can't.
Right. So, you know, it's an interesting idea. We've got, again, on the design team, bigger plans for changes to the leaderboards than just adding a couple arrows. But a first and last or a 25-50 skip it's a really good idea. You know what else I like when you have navigation like that is just being able to type in the page number you want. That's always a good solution. You know, it's a much smaller thing than the changes we have planned. So I'll talk to the team and see if maybe we can do something about that now to tide everybody over until we can do our big.
Because personally, I want to know when I hit page 1337, because that's better than page 1, right?
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah, that's when you're winning.
Yeah.
That's winning.
That's oh, that would be a pro fail. All right. Our next question is: can we get a checkbox to make the minimap maximize by default? The player hates having to remember to press M at the beginning of every match.
We shouldn't even, personally, in my opinion, have to have a checkbox. If you've minimized, or if you've maximized it, I'm sorry. If you've maximized the map, it should stay that way. And then when you minimize it, it gets small again, and it stays that way. I think it's something we should have. Yeah, or start it max for everybody. I mean, yes, it's a good thing. We should make sure that we get it into the backlog and talk about it there. I don't see any reason why we shouldn't do little things like that to make the game just a little bit easier to deal with.
Okay, so I'll look forward to that, because that will be that'll be fun. I'm one of those that's like, oh, I forgot to press M. I can't see anything.
Yeah.
And so our next question is, can we get or no, sorry, I just read that one. What is the team's long-term goals in terms of bridging the gap between the casual and the hardcore? League of Legends has its ranked system where players can play matches to reach higher divisions and leagues. Are you guys planning anything in the way of sponsored tournaments? If so, how are you guys going to encourage this type of competitive play?
Right. So with a game like Ghost Recon...
That was kind of a two-parter.
Yeah. With a game like Ghost Recon Online, competition's really important. Ghost Recon Online's fun when you play it. When you play it with a good team, it's really fun. When you play it with a good team against another good team for high stakes, it's at its best. We know that. We want to give that experience to everybody. To as many of our players as possible, as often as possible. So, I'll be honest, the design team right now is focused more on ways of making that experience something you can have as often as you want for a larger portion of the player base than we are on tournaments. Tournaments are cool. Tournaments are fun. The great thing about tournaments is you don't necessarily need to have the development and the design team build a framework for tournaments. It allows you to actually experiment better when you run tournaments with people. It's easier to coordinate getting two teams at the same time. As long as you have enough tools to run those tournaments, you can see what works and what doesn't much faster. It's much faster to iterate by running a tournament, talking to each other, finding out what doesn't work, and then running a different one with some different changes than it is to build a version of the game, put it out there, see what people think about it, build another version of the game. So competition and leagues are definitely critical to Ghost Recon Online, and they're core to the DNA.
So I guess an extension of that would be some players on the forums have like they want to have more clan matches, but they've said it's hard to find other clans to play against. Will there be anything in the short term to facilitate better clan matches, and because that kind of leads into that or bleeds into the competitive area?
It does
in like that kind of tiered play.
I don't think there will be anything in the short term, to be honest. I recommend people use the forums to organize matches between themselves. We have some very rudimentary tools they can use to try to organize it. We do have changes we're making and a lot that we're going to be doing to support it. But will they show up in the short term? I'm not sure.
Okay. The holdout game mode is a nice change of pace from the other two modes, but the subpen map is just terrible when there are too many snipers wanting to snipe, as it makes it impossible to have a chance to win. What can you do to improve the playability of this game mode, or motivate players to actually get on the point without the need to have other players begging them to get there, whether it be capture the point or defend the point to stop the enemy?
So we're talking about when there's too many snipers on my team. It's impossible to win.
That's how I read the question. It's just like the subpen is just really.
It's even
like
more.
When you get too many snipers.
Well, it's even more reliant
really
on
bad.
people. As a tighter, smaller map, team play becomes even more important in subpen than some of our other maps. What we can do, like I talked about earlier, is make some changes to give people a little bit more control over how they play the game, who they play with.
Sounds like you're having fun.
It's one of the QA guys. It's his birthday today, so
Happy birthday, QA guy.
Yeah.
In Singapore.
I think there's a cake too. Good stuff.
Does it look like a ghost skull? Because if not, they did it wrong.
Yeah, I can't see the cake from here. I just see a bunch of heads.
Oh. Hopefully that's not the cake.
Yeah, head cake. Have you ever seen face cake? It's good stuff.